what a gifted teacher that man is. He's pretty much brought out an awful lot of very talented competitors from the Heartland School. And in fact, any opponent who has ever faced Les Thatcher in the ring has become quite a gifted competitor just sharing the same room with the Les Thatcher. And that's precisely what B.J. Whitmer and Matt Stryker bring to the table here. Such a powerful, powerful tag team. Their success rate speaks for themselves. And tonight, going for tag team gold, namely Wildside tag team gold, held by Future Shock.
Brandon P. and Jay Freeze earned those championships, but that has not changed their demeanor about the fans of NWA Wildside nor the sport of professional wrestling. The equivalent in that factor, respect. Simply something they possess none of and make no bones about it. Future Shock demand respect. They won't give it to anybody else. They're the Wildside Tag Team Champions. You can't argue with them 100% because they won the matchup, the ladder match at Hardcore Hell, defeating Tank and Scotty Wren and the Lost Boys, the most brutal matchup I have ever witnessed. They survived. They're the Tag Team Champions, and they are very credible. With that being stated, the challengers are of a caliber Future Shock have yet to face in their championship reign. B.J. Whitmer in the ring starting this contest out with Brandon P. Both men out of Cincinnati, Ohio. As you said, trained under the great Les Thatcher and learned so much. Also a part of many WWE seminars with legends like Dean Malenko and Arn Anderson, giving them tutelage, giving them knowledge to round out their already impressive games. Stryker and Whitmer, mat technicians. That's the word I want to use for them. That is the word that personifies the team of Stryker and Whitmer. But now Brandon P. with an overhead suplex there. And you see, B.J. Whitmer, mat technician, held on to the front face lock. Tag into Matt Stryker now.
And Stryker arrives with a big swift kick in the midsection of Brandon P. Thunderous, thunderous chop. Make that two.
Stryker with an Irish whip back elbow. Matt Stryker, lateral press, forearm across the face. Still too early to put away Brandon P., a game competitor. Going for a snapmare takeover. Brandon P. studying and doing his homework on a counter of a snapmare, something that I haven't seen in many, many years.
Just grabbing onto that head, twisting it in a way that it was not designed to go. Ultimately wearing down your opponent and hanging on at every available opportunity.
He's almost got him in a caravat, Steven, and he's got it cinched. It looked like he was going for a snapmare takeover that Pete countered due to the lack of forward momentum. But there's the snapmare. But he had that caravat locked on for quite some time. That was actually submission hold. My fault on the call.
Hey, that's no fault at all, but frankly, I mean, Matt Stryker realized that Brandon P. is a good 2 or 3 inches taller than he is. So you have to adapt when the opportunity presents itself. And you may have to go to a plan B along the way. That's what Matt Stryker did.
B.J. Whitmer now in the ring. These two guys, great young athletes with a lot of potential. Both have collegiate athletic backgrounds in many sports. Both men tried and true great wrestling technicians, and that is something you really love to see in this day and age. They want to win the matchup with wrestling. They're not really big on the brawling tactics. They're not big on flying all over the place. They want to get in there and they want to wrestle you. They're from the school of, should I say, a Luthez or a Danny Hodge. They take that type of approach to their matchups, which is something that has been a forgotten art in many years, and are looking to make a huge success out of it in NWA Wildside. Now Matt Stryker side rushing leg sweep rolls through again, always looking for that opportunity. You never know when you may be able to pin your shoulders of your opponent to the mat, and Matt Stryker going for repeated pinfall attempts. Signs of a great tag team wrestler.
And taking opportunities is precisely what is the good qualities of any successful competitor in professional wrestling. And taking advantage of opportunities is something that the Future Shock are actually quite astounding at. Matter of fact, by winning those tag team titles in that three-way, they let the other two tag teams do all the dirty work. They just moved in for the pin. Taking advantage of your opportunities, that's Future Shock, stock and trade.
And they did, and it was the most intelligent thing they could have done, not to say they didn't receive their portion of the punishment. Of course, Jay Freeze powerbombed through a ladder by Tank in the corner. Brandon P busted and bloodied, bled all over the place in that matchup. They survived. That's the name of the game of Future Shock. They know all the dirty tricks. North Carolina studying really a lot of guys like Ric Flair and the Andersons, learning all the little insight, dirty tricks that you can pull out of nowhere, the little things that most people won't even notice. Future Shock are really, really privy to that style of wrestling. Like that. There you see Stryker was coming down. Jay Freeze just simply raised his back foot and a mule kick right to the groin of Matt Stryker.
Don't want to let any opportunities go by. Even it involves illegal moves such as chokes and low blows.
And that's where you see the difference in philosophy between these two teams. When it was Stryker and Whitmer on offense, it was all wrestling, all by the book. As soon as Future Shock in control, they are blatantly breaking the rules as much as they can get away with. With Andrew Thomas as the official, they can get away with that much more, and they damn well know it.
Sometimes the expression is a clash of styles, but that is pro wrestling's rich pageant. You know, there's all kinds of styles out there, all kinds of ways of accomplishing your ultimate goal. We're seeing two very disparate styles here this evening, but there's tag team gold on the line, so balls to the wall, my friends.
Big chop by Jay Freeze, and look at that forearms, that almost knocked him out. Irish whip by Matt Stryker. Jay Freeze going for a sunset flip, but looks like he lost his footing, lost his grip. And now in a desperation attempt, grabbed the foot of Matt Stryker to prevent the tag. Brandon P now into work on the lower back.
I'll tell you, shades of Gene and Ole Anderson, who have done that so many times. We all know how successful Gene and Ole were in the ranks of Southeastern Wrestling throughout the National Wrestling Alliance in the late 70s, all the way through the late 80s.
Future Shock, if I dare say it, could be compared to a modern equivalent with their very own style and very own attitude. But they've taken a formula that has worked, whether or not you agree with it, and I for one don't, but whether or not you agree with it, the style has worked for the better part of 4 decades.
And no, this is not lucha rules. We're seeing some non-tags between Jay Freeze and Brandon P at regular intervals here. Unbeknownst to referee Andrew Thomas, like he'd pay attention in the first place.
Tag team match under National Wrestling Alliance rules. The legal man must be in the ring at all times for legal activity in relation to the match to occur. Stryker goes face first on the guardrail, courtesy of Brandon P.
And B.J. Whitmer is not particularly happy with the events of this matchup. At this point, a Stryker gets a leg on that bottom rope. And Jay Freeze doesn't like the concept of having his opponent being into the ropes. Get used to it, Jay. Freeze really needs to get out more often, you know?
Jay Freeze is such a bitter man.
Yeah, no kidding.
Walks around with a chip on his shoulder the size of the national debt. Well, look at the forearm blast, and look at that punch. These guys trading blows and trading them hard. Stryker just snatches up Freeze, but Freeze with a counter. Freeze hooks the leg in there, and wait a minute. Oh, good grief. Right to the armpit, and that steel cable can't feel good.
You know, it's really good. And boy, Matt Stryker, he is toast.
B.J. Whitmer getting a little frustrated with Andrew Thomas, and Jay Freeze just spit on it. He spit on the man. He had every right to get in the ring.
Well, no, he didn't. He did not tag.
Well, maybe morally, but not within the boundaries of the rules.
You don't want to let morals get involved. It's pro wrestling, damn it.
Freeze in control yet again. Slamming the head of Matt Stryker into the top turnbuckle. Another vicious, vicious chop. And Future Shock just working so well together. They're showing really, when it comes down to the stretch, what a team they can be. But look at Matt Stryker. He's not done. He's fighting both of them off.
And a drop toe hold, sending Matt Stryker down, still away from the tagging hands of his partner, B.J. Whitmer. Pin attempt by Jay Freeze. Oh, only 2.5. Crowd quite obviously behind the team of Whitmer and Stryker. Doesn't seem to bother Future Shock any. Drawing that imaginary line in the ring, keeping the bruised and battered Matt Stryker a long way from the hands of his partner, B.J. Whitmer. That's what makes tag team champions.
Quick tags in and out. Future Shock cutting the ring in half, to use an old cliche. And it's one that certainly applies in this case. Jay Freeze coming off the second turnbuckle, but he misses an elbow.
And telling everybody he's dropping an elbow. That's great. Maybe if you didn't tell anybody, you might connect with it. These kids today, I tell you, Dan.
Matt Stryker trying desperately to make a tag, goes for an enziguri, and Jay Freeze right back on the attack. That is thinking quick, fans.
And Matt Stryker has been on the receiving end of an awful lot of brutality from the team at Future Shock. And all it takes is 3 seconds and it all can be over. And that's a fact that Matt Stryker, I'm sure, is understanding at the very moment.
Oh, big shoulder tackle by Brandon P. Snapmare takeover again by Brandon P in a rear chin lock. And Future Shock continuing to cut the ring in half. They're keeping Matt Stryker in their vicinity, in their portion of the ring. They're controlling the pace. That's why they are on top, and they're using liberal violation of the rules when they can get away with it. Well, wait a minute. Matt Stryker trying to find a second win here. He's fighting, and yet again gets thwarted in his effort with a big knee lift by Brandon P.
Matt Stryker would have been better served taking that brief little opportunity to make a tag to B.J. Whitmer rather than to get a blow in on Brandon P. But in the heat of the battle, and neither you nor I know what that's like, you think otherwise. And Stryker with 3 thunderous chops. Where he gets it from, I have no idea.
There's a reversal. And another back elbow. Future Shock continually taking control of this matchup and putting it in their favor.
Junior official Andrew Thomas in to make sure there's no concession out of Matt Stryker. Les Thatcher did not train his students to concede. Those are words that are totally alien to any member of the Heartland Training School.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I say no human being is going to be able to withstand as much punishment as Matt Stryker is withstanding at this moment.
Matt Stryker just taking a beating.
And a lot of these competitors, we're talking about professional wrestlers in the year 2003. They literally tour all over the country. I mean, Matt Stryker, for instance, just last night wrestled in New York City. And here he is in the southeastern United States, you know, yet after another toiling drive down the coast, getting pretty much this bruised and battered body, even more bruised and battered from the Wildside Tag Team Champions.
And it would certainly be pleasure if Stryker and Whitmer could upend the tag team champions. And Matt Stryker, look, wait a minute, Future Shock now. Wait a minute, look at Stryker, now back in control. Ducks a clothesline by Freeze. Future Shock continually having him in control, and I think their 5 counts just about up. Double Northern Light suplex.
Stryker had to dig down deep for that. Now he should have nothing on his mind but tagging B.J. Whitmer, and he does precisely that.
Big tag made into B.J. Whitmer. Hammering clotheslines, taking down the champs. Irish whip. Big forearm shot.
Whitmer has absolutely had it with the antics of Future Shock, and he's ready to take it out and hide.
Snapmare takeover, spinal tap. B.J. Whitmer, Irish whips Freeze. goes for a clothesline. Freeze ducks. Whitmer ducks. Big back suplex right on his head.
That should definitely be rocking Jay Freeze's world.
Knee to the face in the corner. And Whitmer just, oh, good grief.
Rubbing that knee across the face of Brandon P. And a charging knee right into the face of P. And BJ Whitmer asking for his assistance for Matt Stryker, who quite frankly shouldn't have so much get up and go, but he does have that.
Oh, good grief. Stryker and Whitmer so close, but so far away. This has been a toiling contest. To be right at the time limit mark.
That it certainly is. One of the longest tag team encounters we've had here in Wildside in quite some time.
And they are going for the aftershock. Here we go. There's the baseball slide, the power bomb. There's the aftershock by the champions. But BJ Whitmer kicks out of the aftershock.
And Brandon P can hardly believe it. I mean, after every aftershock, a 3 count's almost a given. Not tonight, my friends. Boy, Whitmer, or rather Stryker, putting the boots to Jay Freeze. And a meeting of the Wildside Tag Team Champions.
Jay Freeze goes over the top rope. Super powerbomb, and with Andrew Thomas trying to get Matt Stryker out of the ring. And Jay Freeze with the tag team titles to the back of the head.
If he was only so attentive when Future Shock were double teaming. Well, for Pete's sake. Oh, and Jay Freeze putting the lifeless hand of Matt Stryker. Interestingly, that Brandon P was hardly in any shape to even make the pin on BJ Whitmer, but Jay Freeze put his own lifeless body on top of him, and Future Shock retained the Wildside Tag Team titles. Quite a give and take affair, and we saw both teams on top of their game. And a stellar tag team encounter here in your main event this week on NWA Wildside.
Stryker and Whitmer were definitely robbed in that encounter, but after careful review, I'm sure they're going to be given another shot at the title somewhere down the line. Nothing to be ashamed of in that effort. They really showed what they were made of tonight on Wildside, fans.
Yeah, that's right. Whitmer and Stryker. Definitely a tag team we'll be seeing here again, I'm sure, here at NWA Wildside. The Future Shock, that's Brandon P. and Jay Freeze, still Wildside Tag Team Champions. More Wildside next week for Dan the Dragon Wilson. I'm Stephen Prazak. We'll see you next week on your nation's #1 pro wrestling alternative.